All right, what's up, everybody? I'm Wooly. Dude in the Still Hood shirt is Mike Sanders. We are S3 Magazine. Welcome to the podcast. Tonight, we're talking about some news that we read today on Road and Track. The title says Ford is going 100% online, fixed price sales for EVs. So that means pretty much exactly what you think it would mean. Ford is transitioning over to the Tesla model. They're trying, they're going to sell these EVs online, fixed price. You pay the price, they deliver it to your doorstep. Real quick, just to kind of bring you guys up to speed with this article, I'll scan through it. This is all stuff kind of that CEO Jim Farley said. He's quoted saying, "We got to go non-negotiated price. We got to go 100% online. There's no inventory. It goes directly to the customer, and 100% remote pickup and delivery." For right now, this is just for the EVs. So they're kind of separating the way they're doing it for internal combustion and EV, although we can assume it's probably a test bed, and we don't know if it's going to happen with internal combustion, but I'm sure it could. Let me see. He went on to say he sees the physical locations of dealers as a huge opportunity to push an edge over competitors, but that the current stores will have to radically evolve. Dealers can do it, he said, and this is quotes, but the standards are going to be brutal. Of course, they talk about how they're modeling after the Tesla way of doing it. Let me see. Oh, and kind of a final thought. The company also Ford intends to massively scale back the advertising of EVs. Okay. They're not going to market them either. So that's kind of the news. Real quick, because if y'all listen to this, I'm probably going to go negative and start railing on this. One little light of positive would be that the dealers can't play the greedy markup games. The one good thing I see here is that if you're buying a car online directly from the manufacturer, the price is the price. So when the Type R, is $35,000, you pay $35,000. So like when cars like the GR Corolla or the Lightning or the Broncos or any of these kind of highly sought after cars come out, they're not going to get screwed over by the dealers playing greedy markup games. Aside from that, to me, this seems to be very stupid and very bad for a lot of people. Mike just did a quick social media video on it. So he's probably a little bit more rehearsed, however you want to say it. So, what do you think, Mike?
Oh, man, it's just bad news through and through. I don't even know where to start. I did just do this, so my mind's kind of all over the place with it. You're right. So first of all, other car companies have tried bits and pieces of this before. To be truthful, the only company that's ever been successful with it is Tesla. They really don't market their product, but let's face it, they do it in a different way. They don't market the cars. They marketed Elon Musk. He is their marketing strategy. That guy is in the news for something every single day. He's probably the most talked about human being on earth for the past 3-4 years now. Tesla doesn't need to market. Ford, you're not Tesla. You're just not, and you never will be. They have a different strategy. They have a different way of going about business. They've been building electric cars for a really long time now. You're a noob when it comes to this. Don't try to be the big boy over there. Be Ford. You've been really successful at it for a really long time. Be yourself. Be Ford. I see so much bad light with this. You're right. Dealers won't be able to do the massive markups because they won't exist. They're going to be gone. For so many years now, Ford has hung their hat on the fact that they have 10,000 plus dealerships throughout the world. Actually, throughout the world, they've got over 10,000 dealerships employing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people. What's going to happen to all those jobs? He says right there in the article, there will be no inventory at the dealerships, and dealerships are going to have to radically evolve. The standards are going to be brutal. that's just a really fancy way of saying you're not going to make any money and we're basically going to snuff you out. Everything about this. So you've got that. You've got the fact that right now, USA Today notes Ford estimates that it spends $2,000 more than Tesla per car on the distribution side of things. It seems to be that Ford is really, really, really concerned about the money side. They're not going to market anymore. They just pulled out of SEMA. Everything that they're doing should be screaming to everybody, be wary. Ford is pulling back on anything that costs any type of money right now, so much to the point that they're basically going to start pulling dealer license. Now, some people will say, that's great. I'm an introvert. I don't want to go into a dealership. Think about everything that a dealership does. So a dealership's whole job, their whole purpose in life is to have a bunch of people that are Ford people to go out there and be staunch for the brand and to market it. Because let's not forget about that. Ford does spend their own marketing dollars, but the dealerships spend a ton more if you combine them all together. They're in their local newspapers, their local football stadiums. I mean, that's the dealerships doing that stuff. Ford might throw some co-op dollars their way, but that's most of the dealership putting that down to drive up sales. So they do marketing, they do the actual negotiating, the financing, the actual selling. They also physically house the vehicles. How is Ford going to do all of this stuff without dealerships? Well, they're going to switch to what's called just-in-time manufacturing, which is essentially what Tesla does right now. And it's also one thing that really irritates most buyers when it comes to Tesla, because let's go through the process. I see a car that I want to buy. I pick out my color and my interior and my package. Buy now. So it goes to the financing. I buy it. Well, I can't go pick it up today. I can't have it delivered today. That car has not been made yet. They're doing just-in-time manufacturing because they're penny pinching and cost cutting everywhere that they can. For Tesla, it's a real problem because they're having trouble getting the raw materials like the rest of the world to actually make the product. So just-in-time manufacturing works right now. But for a company like Ford, who basically makes all of their profit based on the fact that they always have vehicles selling every minute of every single day, that's not going to work because the cars don't come off of the assembly line fast enough for that type of manufacturing. So what I'm seeing here is Ford is basically saying, we're going to take a massive step backwards in everything that we do, in our manufacturing, in our distribution, in our marketing, in our sales. We're going to bring it all really, really in close to the vest, and we're going to control it all ourselves. But that sounds like a really crappy idea for what's supposed to be one of the largest automotive manufacturers in the world and probably the leader of the big three. Man, everything about this is dumb. If you're Jim Farley, why would you even announce this stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that you mentioned they're taking a massive step. Sorry, you said they're taking a massive step backwards. I think that they think they're taking a massive step forward into the 21st century. But what they have been, look, it's like you said, they're not Tesla. Okay, Tesla people want to drive an iPhone, most of them, and they want to buy their car in the way that you buy an iPhone. They love the Apple system where you don't actually really talk to people, you talk to tech support or whatever, you chats or you make reservations for everything. That works for Tesla. What works for Ford has been working really well for 100 and some odd years, and they are changing everything to try and catch up to the 21st century, which has not been defined yet, and to try and copy Tesla, who is just a sliver of their competition. You know what I mean? Like, Tesla, in my opinion, is not a threat to Ford. Like, Tesla is doing a great job, and sure, they've taken some Ford customers, I'm sure, but Ford is still Ford. You know what I mean? So this sense of panic to get with the future, to me, is really unattractive from a company like Ford. Ford needs to realize all of America, and and not just this small group that is. I just don't understand. I don't understand the pressure from these manufacturers to be like Tesla. Tesla's great, but it's still like a 7%, slice of the pie or something like that. The only thing that makes sense is the fact that the government's now involved in legislating. So now the government's saying, you're going to be like Tesla. The company that only takes a small fraction of your sales, you have to be like them now. And that's effed up. And that's why we're against the government getting involved in, consumer choice. That's not right. I don't care what side of the aisle you stand on. And what you were talking about, it's kind of news to me, the just-in-time manufacturing. It sounds a hell of a lot like a pre-sale. So like,
it kind of
what
is.
are we doing now? Hey, you want to order the car and then wait for it for 3 months, and that 3 months will turn into 4. It's like buying a freaking shirt from one of your small buddies online that doesn't want to make the shirts until he has enough orders to make them. It's like, this is the way we're doing business. It's like you said, this is absolutely, undeniably, no matter how you slice it, bad news and a step backwards, and it's going to hurt American jobs. And that doesn't even get into the fact that that's not how I want to buy a car. Not how I want to do it. I buy cars in my local community often. The past 3 or 4 new cars I bought have been from friends. I see that they have something online. See, for me, and you can call me whatever, call me a boomer or last century or a dinosaur, that's fine. But like, for me, buying a car is seizing a moment of opportunity in a lot of cases. When I bought my Jeep, I was looking for my Jeep for a long time. Then I found one that was $1,000 less than all the other ones. And it sparked me to go to the dealer. And once I'm there, the seed is planted. I want it. You know what I mean? So then you start talking to the guy. You have a little bit of camaraderie, like there's some mutual interest there. He goes, yo, look, we got this one. We got to get it moved. Like, come on, you're here. I'm here. Like, let's make this happen. And that's what sparks car sales for me. If you're going to wait for me to go online and order the car and then add to cart and wait for 3 months until it gets here, you're going to be waiting a real freaking long time for somebody like me. Not saying everybody's like me, but I'm me, and that's not how I'm going to buy a car. I think there's probably a lot of people like me.
I agree. And exactly what you're saying. To be honest, most of the people who have the same point of view as you are the ones who have the money to be buying new vehicles. So again, Ford doing this is very, very stupid, to put it bluntly. I mean, that was the whole way I bought my Mustang. I bought that Mustang brand new, and I'm not a Mustang guy, but you called me one day and you were like, hey man, your local Ford dealership is running a crazy sale on Mustangs right now with the 5.0s base packages. Now, again, that's 2 things that are going against what Ford is doing. That's a sale, and it's physically there, so we knew about it. And that made me go there and buy a car without my wife's permission and bring it home. That type of stuff is not going to happen. Those knee-jerk sales, having a salesman kind of lure you in with the car and come on, let's talk numbers. Let's figure out what monthly payments are going to be and stuff like that. That's not going to happen anymore. It's going to be deliberate. Somebody's going to have to sit in front of a keyboard, in front of a computer and say, let me figure out my own financing. Let's see what they can offer. Okay, well, let's do this package. Oh, they don't have that package. And let's not forget, man, whenever companies go this route, whenever it's all online and everything is 100% digital, there's no service. There's no service. Like, you call that service center and it's going to be, you're going to pull your freaking hair out because it's going to be somebody there just going through the motions, sending you to other people, hanging up on you on accident. It's going to be your typical call center BS. But these are going to be real problems because it's going to be new technology in automobiles that you have to rely on every single day to get you to where you're going. And, oh man, I don't see this ending well at all.
Let's be honest, right now, there's no service for these cars anyway. If you have a problem, they're as clueless as you are. You know what I mean? Like, at least that's right now in 2022. But to add to your story about your Mustang, so I was having some muscle car fever. I kind of wanted a Mustang. It's the last thing I needed. I had other cars. Just to tell the backstory. But I saw an ad from Akins Ford, a local Ford dealer, that came my way that said 0% 72 months. I called you, Mike Sanders, and I said, damn it, dude. They're doing 0% for 72 months, and they're selling base Mustangs for under $30,000. If you do not jump on this, I'm going to jump on this. We're going to make it an S3 project. I'm going to get all sorts of rad parts for this thing, and you're going to hate yourself for not doing it. And you were like, I'll ride over there, you know? And that's the thing. Then they had inventory, you know? They had a blue one, they had a red one, they had a white one. And it became a question of like, dang, man, it's right here, right now. This is a moment of opportunity that won't be here forever. I'm gonna pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
That won't exist. None of that would have happened.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this new way of business that Ford is trying to go down the rabbit hole of it's not going to work. So right now, to let you guys in on it, I do a lot of stock trading and stuff. I sold all my Ford stock. Okay. I just don't believe in what they're doing right now. And it's because they're changing their business model. Their business model is built on building cool vehicles and getting a ton of them out the door and into homes. Basically, the way that it works right now, they've got this massive network of dealers. Like I said, over 10,000 dealers worldwide. And all day long, the purchasing agents at those dealerships are sending in purchase orders directly to Ford corporate, or I guess whoever their local Ford distributor is. I'm not sure exactly the pipeline, but essentially they're sending POs to Ford to buy vehicles. Now that's vehicles to just fill space on the lot, or something new came out, or they have a customer coming to them saying, I want this, bring it in for me. But either way, the fact is, if you're Ford, you're getting bombarded all day long with purchase orders, and purchase orders are great because those are definite sales that are coming in for vehicles that you either have already built and need to ship out, or need to build and ship out. But the fact is, they're just raining down on you because you have a massive, just worldwide team of salespeople out there marketing and selling these vehicles for you. With this way of doing it, they're not going to have that. They're only going to rely on individual people going to their website and buying cars. The numbers are not even going to compare, not even remotely compare. It's going to be 10 to 1 if they're lucky. They're not going to sell nearly as many cars by doing it this way.
Look, I mean, I sent this article, sorry. I sent this article to a buddy of mine that sells Fords, and he responded immediately and was like, yeah, I'm actually really excited about it. I'm just like, okay. Ford has been doing nothing for the last year or two but telling us that EV is the future. Ford is now saying that they're not going to sell EVs at dealerships. Ford is telling the dealerships that they are becoming irrelevant, and thus the salespeople are becoming irrelevant. I didn't engage with, our friend that sells cars, but why is he excited about? How can he spin this? The only thing that I can see him being excited about is he thinks people are going to come to him to help him click the buttons online and submit the order. And then he gets to sell a car in, I guess, the most easiest way possible because there's no haggle. There's none of that kind of stuff. But that is temporary at best. Yeah, I might go use him because he's my buddy, but I'm not going to use him in 5 years from now. You know what I mean? Like, as the transition happens, they're out. There's just no other way to look at that. If you owned multiple Ford dealerships right now, what do you do? I mean, I'm looking at turning them into Toyota dealerships.
Yeah. And see, that's another thing where I think that old Jim Farley really, really screwed up. Why announce this? You just told your competition another major flaw. If I'm Toyota or GM or Dodge or anybody, I'm holding on to my dealerships because as soon as yours are gone, I'm going to use mine to absolutely finish digging your grave, because at that point, they just have more than you. And yes, if I'm a Ford dealership right now, I'm looking to see how I can get out of my Ford deal to become a Chevy or a Toyota dealership or Nissan, something else, anything else. Because if you're a dealership and you're not allowed to sell cars, you can't make money. If you can't make money, you can't pay your people. If you can't pay people, you can't keep the doors open, and then it's just another empty building, just like all the empty malls we have around the freaking US. Is that what we're trying to do here, where we're not done shutting all the malls down? Now you want to shut down all the damn dealerships? Like, what are we doing?
I mean, here it is, right from the horse's mouth, the CEO. The standards for dealers are going to be brutal.
Brutal.
That's it. That's coming from him. And I don't get it, because I've listened to Jim Farley interviews. He's a very intelligent guy. So unless he's trying to tank his company on purpose, I don't understand like where these recent moves are coming from. I know we keep talking about Ford pulling out of SEMA, Ford killing their dealerships, Ford. What? It's not because we have it out for Ford. We're Ford owners. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is coming from them. It's the moves that they are making. I don't understand it for the life of me. They're so.
Go ahead.
I'm so desperate to be 21st century that they are like literally going to hit an iceberg. I don't understand.
I can't tell if they have the worst PR team in the world letting this stuff get out, or literally just like making the biggest blunders on almost a damn daily basis that I've ever seen. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, a couple of weeks ago, you and I talked about how with all this EV stuff happening and how fast everything was happening, everybody pulling out of SEMA, and just the immediate constant change of scenery that's happening in the automotive industry right now. One of the big three is not going to make it through this. Right now, Ford is good Lord, they could not be tripping out of the gate harder if they tried.
But that's what I don't get, because GM are the real idiots here.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like GM is at least quietly being stupid. I mean, they're a whole different thing. I don't even think they know what they're trying to build. On one hand, they say we're building affordable EVs for everybody. And meanwhile, all of our EVs are over six figures. But at least they're not being in the news about being stupid. Like, you can't, what the hell is going on? Like, you cannot be this bad at being a CEO. I don't understand. Unless it goes, you're the finance guy, and let's follow the money. The money is no longer coming from consumers. They don't have to care what consumers think or say or want, because they obviously don't understand their buyers. And like I said, they're making 100% decisions and shifts in operations based on a 7%, electric desire from the people right now. It's just, I don't understand. And then you got to separate. Okay, then two different arguments. Okay, so say people do warm up to EVs. Do they want to buy them online? Is that the American, is that what American good old boy blue collar types of people? If you have a fleet of pest control, vehicles, and you want to get lightnings, to update the fleet, do you want to go online and go add to basket, add to basket, add to basket, and do that 15 times for your fleet? Hell no, man. You want to go to your guy at a dealership and you want to say, I need 15 vehicles, man. You better hook me up. Show me some love here. Give me some rubber floor mats or something. You know what I mean? Like, come on, treat me right. That's just the American way. I'm not trying to stereotype, but that's the way America works. It's the feeling of a good deal, whether that deal is really a good deal or it's valid or not. But people like the feeling of a good deal and somebody to pat your shoulder and say, all right, bud, I got you on this, in the end, we know everybody's making profit, and that's fine, but this impersonal post-corona bullshit way of trying to buy a car. Listen, like, I understand that you millennials don't like to talk to people, and you like to order your pizzas online, and you don't want to haggle because it makes you uncomfortable, and you don't know how to start the conversation. But if you are not haggling, you're getting fucked. That's the only option. The option is you don't want to haggle? Well, we don't haggle. You just pay sticker. Like that. Like, what kind of? I don't understand the mentality of people now to go, well, it's no, you're just paying the sticker and you're waiting for 3 months And what about the people that had their car in an accident or for whatever reason they need a new car now? Like, what about those guys? They're not going to be able to buy your EV if they have to a waiting period. You know what I mean? Like, this is idiotic.
Yeah. I had a good point I was about to say, and I don't know.
We should end it right at that. This is really stupid.
This is really stupid.
And that's it. That's all we got.
That's it.
This is dumb. We'll see you next time.
Pretty much. And one more thing, let's not forget that with as expensive as vehicles have gotten over the past couple of years, I mean, it's very similar to buying a house now. I mean, most cars are starting at $50,000, $60,000 and going up into the $100,000 range pretty easily these days. So with that being said, I mean, how many people are going to want to go online and enter in all their credit information, all of their history, and then commit to a purchase that large online? You mentioned, people buying pizzas online. I buy my pizzas online too. It's just easier and more convenient, mostly because the stores don't pick up the phone anymore. You have to order online. It just kind of is the way that it is. But who the hell is going to do the equivalent of a mortgage 100% on the computer without having somebody kind of take you under their wing and say, well, this is how it's going to be done. This is the actual car that you're going to be getting, stuff like that. I mean, it's one thing to be like, we'll go out of our way and we'll get you a version of this car. It's our demo car and you can take it out. But like, are you really going to buy the car that you're going to be living with for the life of that mortgage style loan without seeing it, feeling it, driving it? Who the hell does that? I would never make that kind of investment into something that I can't try first.
And maybe that's what our dealership buddy thinks is going to happen, is he will be the agent that you'll come and see, and he'll take you under his wing and guide you through the buying process. The fail point there is the dealership is not going to be there. Why is the dealership going to exist for the salesman to make a little commission if they don't have inventory that they can turn and burn? Like I said, I don't see a way that this works. I was talking to we can close with this. I was talking to my dad when I read this story. We happened to be hanging out, and he was like, Porsche tried that in the 80s. And obviously it wasn't an internet-based thing, but Porsche tried to set the price at the price so that everybody would pay the same price for a 911. And the concept was that the dealers would be kind of galleries of sorts where they would have, a couple models on display. You would go in there, look at that car, crawl through that car, and then kind of be like, okay, I want silver with blue interior or whatever. And then they would have warehouses throughout the country where all the cars were just stored, and they would be like, no problem, we've got that one in Savannah and we'll have it to you tomorrow. It failed because the dealerships took them to court and threatened to sue their ass off. So maybe it goes that way. It was a failed idea. So we'll see where this goes. If it works, it's because the consumer has gotten so weak that they just don't want to engage and involve themselves in the buying process. One other thing, when you were mentioning, there's a human element to it. Like, again, the last 3 cars I've bought have been kind of from people that have been Facebook friends that sell cars. And you go in there and they kind of already know you, and it's a more casual deal. Getting approved is honestly kind of been a pretty loose little deal. They're like, oh yeah, no, you're good, man. Like, it doesn't come down to running numbers and all of this kind of stuff. That's all going to be lost. It's going to be, how when you go to like a major bank to get a loan, it's by the book, yes or no. You're losing on an entire human element to this thing. The element of like, yeah, you're good for it. I know you. You know what I mean? So like I said earlier, I have no interest in buying a car this way. Now, inevitably, if this is the way it goes, I guess I'll be forced to at some point, but I will, to avoid that situation, hang on to my cars for longer. I will not buy a car because I kind of want a car. You know what I mean? You're taking the luster out of the deal for me.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about with the human element. About how many car deals, even on a daily basis, like get done because a salesman wants to get the deal done and makes the numbers work. Like that salesman and financing guy combo get together and their credit score sucks and they don't have a lot of money to put down, but damn it, we're going to put them in a Hellcat anyway, and they make it work. That's not going to work. You're basically going to have an algorithm that tells you, based on your income and money you have in the bank, what cars you qualify to purchase. Have fun with that.
Yeah, we're seeing how well algorithms are working out in every other aspect of our lives, huh? Yeah, let's do more of that. Anyway, okay, we're done for real this time.
For real this time. Thanks, guys.